because everybody won't buy. The first question you have to ask, how many will learn about your product or service? How many will, from that point of view, be possible to be a customer? Because there will be a lot of buyers out there who are not will see your information, who will not know about you, even if you have the right product for them or right service. So how many will learn about your product or service? How many will be interested? Because learning about it doesn't make people interested. And to this comes also then how good you have been successful in your marketing. But how many will be interested? How many will say, yes, this looks interesting? And then how many will perhaps buy? And when perhaps buy, I mean, how many will start a process to think maybe they should buy? And finally, how many will actually buy? And that is much less than what is the maximum. Normally it's very much less. Some cases maybe it's only 1 on 1,000. You have 1,000 maximum and you can only have 0.1% of them. To have higher, you have to have some very good improvement for the fund to buy it. If you have a web page, if they don't visit your web page, then even if you have the right product, they won't come there, and you are losing people on the way all the time here. And connected to a question which is also part of this is, why will people not buy from you? What is it, the reason that they will say no? And this you have to say, okay, they haven't seen you is one, but apart from that, what is it that makes them say no? And if you learn that, you can also help yourself to see how can we get them to say yes. So now we will start with the first company who is working online. Yeah, in the last calculation we made on the step 5, we find out that this company had a maximum number of customers of 82,300 roughly, and now comes the question, how many will learn about it? And when you work online, even if there are a lot of customers as buyers, it's very normal that you get a very few of them, sometimes less than 1% even of the theoretical maximum customers. So in this case we say that you still have a very good marketing based on that this is a very clear group, target group, and that you have made some good marketing, and then we put it to 15%. So it might be lower than that, but we make that in this calculation, and the figure can be higher after some years when you get well known. And this generates a little over 12,000 possible buyers left. And out of this 12,000, how many will be interested? And just because you have products, it doesn't mean they're interested. They can find things from other sources, or they don't want this kind of products, or whatever it is. So we put it to 40% of these who learn about it will be interested. Then we are just under 5,000. And how many will start a process? Go on the web page, start to pick items and so on. We say this will be 60% of the 5,000. And then finally, how many will actually buy, finish there? And starting to put things in the basket doesn't necessarily mean that they finish it, but here we say 50% frequency we have, and then it's roughly 1,500 actual buyer we will calculate on. And this will be for further calculations later when we go through the economics. Now we are to the second company, who are a physical shop for this fishing equipment. In regard to this shop, we have said that they are placed in a recreation area where many people come for fishing, and we had already calculated that there will be 43,000 something visitors in a year who will come here for fishing in the interesting places in the area. And then we ask ourselves, how many will learn about this shop to start with? And as they are interested in fishing, and as you have the shop, the only one we say in this case, we say there is a 70% chance that they will find. But this can vary a lot depending on the circumstances. So when you make your own calculation, don't just take the figures, think it's true. If there are many other jobs, this figure will be much lesser. But in this case, we have 70%. That lands us on about 30,000 customers left. And how many of these 30,000 will be interested in this? So we say that's about 50%. 50% because some will not need to buy anything. They have it with them from when they come from outside and into the area. They have all the fishing equipment. But some will definitely come and say, yeah, we need to buy something extra that we have, or they maybe don't have anything, or they forgot something at home and they need to take it. And we say 50% on that gives the half figure, 15,000. And how many will start the process then? Well, when people are in a shop, they're quite high number many times. So we say 60% here. So that will be 9,000. And how many will actually buy? That will be high figure. When they are in the shop and have started, they're likely to finish it. So we say that 7,711 is the figure we will use for the further calculations later. And finally, we look at a computer app for import companies. This computer app had the maximum number buyers, 300 companies, we said, that need this type of product or could need it. And then we said that how many will learn about it? Well, in this case, it's not so difficult to market in a way because it has a very targeted group. It's not so much about advertising on internet or something like that. It is more to send them letters or call them up or whatever, or be in an exhibition or wherever they see. So in this case, we will say that 70% we should be able to get to learn about this, and it could be higher because we could even reach 100% if we have a good marketing with the letters and telephone calls and so on. So how many will be interested here? Yeah, we say that 80% of these 210 companies that we ended up should be interested because, of course, if they have a import business and if this is an app that helps them to import, they will be interested. So we say 168 of them. And how many will start a process? Well, we think this will be much less because they will say we have done in a certain way for a long time. They will say we don't want to pay any more money right now, or there can be hundreds of reasons which they give. So 20% is a more realistic figure here, we think, and that will be then 34 companies. So how many will actually buy? Well, we say 75% of those who start a process, who have had discussions with you and so on. So that will be 25 companies. And depending on price, this will make sense or not sense, but of course then you can go to other areas, other countries, other things, but this is just a rough thing and this is good for a calculation. And sometimes if you look at this computer app, if maybe you are not selling by having one fee in the beginning, maybe you're charging per month, and then having 25 customers paying per month can make a lot of sense. And now it's your turn to calculate. And now you have to adapt figures, and this is a bit difficult. It's always high risk and things, and it is so easy to calculate too big numbers in there. So go through, see how you are selling this actually, how things are going through, and how do you reach your customer, how many percent of them each step, like these 3 examples was given. Put it up like that and make your own calculation. And if the figure is far too low, you can see it straight away, then maybe you should change something or skip the idea altogether. Or do something else. You try to change some parameters also. But if the figure is high, then it looks good initially, then fine. Then we say, yip, hooray. This we should go on with, and we continue with this. On our webpage, you are finding the questions that are related to this film. So go to our webpage to see the questions you should answer.